This is going to be the most practical session of this Bible study. During last session, we learned that we were made to worship Him everywhere. We're no longer attached to a geographical location. The Creator made us in His image to worship Him. But remember, as we talked, the word worship has been for way too long attached to a place and a moment. Meaning many times the Sunday morning gatherings right here in a place like this, in the worship center. In churches everywhere, people are meeting together calling the worship service. With that said, worship has been associated mostly with music. So today, we'll look at how you can find your worship voice. And I do voice speaking in the matter of serving God with your gifts and talents. I'm talking about your calling to serve God in a church. Music is definitely one of them, right? But not the only one. If you're not on the stage singing or playing an instrument, you still have a worship voice. Voice in a sense of making your faith be known. So in that case, let's start with a simple question. How do you know what your calling is? And that's going to lead into our next question, that is, how should you use to serve in the church? Well, like I said, this is going to be a very, very practical session. So let me give you right to start 6 main steps you can take to discover your calling. And let's start the first one. The first one is you start with your passion. So let me ask you this, what are the things you are passionate about in life? As you think about the answer, these are the things that make you stay up at night. Not because you worry about them, but instead, you can stop thinking about them. These are the things that you're passionate about that make you excited to get up and go to work and make them happen, or just to simply dream about them. Well, number 2 is, what are your spiritual gifts? Number 3, find accountability. What I mean with this is surround yourself with people that will hold you accountable and speak truth to your life. Number 4, test the waters. See, try serving in areas you are not yet sure that it's your wheelhouse. Some of your gifts and talents have been untested. So before you jump right in all the way, try first and allow some time to confirm that it is what you should be doing. See, number 5, be willing to leave your comfort zone. That's a tricky one. Sometimes serving God will take you out of what you're comfortable doing. This is a discovery time for you. So be willing to do that. Okay, and number 6, don't let fear hold you back. This is the number 1 item that will stop you from doing what God has called you to do. Fear. Fear holds us back while God wants us to move forward. What are you afraid of? See, the Bible is very clear about what we do when we have fear. We must cast all our anxieties on Him. He cares for you. One of the greatest illustrations of how we can use all that God has given to us is found in Matthew chapter 25. The teaching of the talents recalls the parable of the faithful and wise slave who continues to do the work of the master until the master returns. See, although the master is delayed, he arrives to find the wise slave doing the task that he has been appointed to him in the master's absence. The foolish slave, however, has neglected his work and abused his power. He receives a very severe punishment. I like this story because likewise in a parable of the talents, the master entrusts his servants with his property, and punishment awaits to those who have failed to carry on the master's work. So here's the story. The story is like this. It's also like a man going off on an extended trip. He called his servants together. He delegates responsibilities. To one, he gave $5,000. To another, $2,000. And a third one, $1,000. That's all depending on their abilities. Then he left. Immediately, the first servant went to work and doubled his master's investment. The second did the same. But the man with the single thousand dug a hole and carefully buried his master's money. After a long absence, the master of those three servants came back and settled up with them. The one given $5,000 showed him how he had doubled his investments. His master commented to him, "Good work. You did a well job. From now on, be my partner." The servants with the 2,000 showed how he also had doubled his master's investment. His master commended him, "Good work. You did your job well. From now on, be my partner." The servant given 1,000 said, "Master, I know you have high standards and hate careless ways, that you demand the best and make no allowance for errors. I was afraid I might disappoint you, so I found a good hiding place and secured your money. Here it is, safe and sound, down to the last cent." The master was furious. That's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. If you knew I was after the best, why did you do less than the least? The least you could have done would have been to invest the sum with the bankers, where at least I would have gotten a little interest. Take the thousands and give it to the one who risked the most, and get rid of this play it safe mindset of someone who won't go out on a limb. Throw him out into the utter darkness. See, God has given each person a wide variety of gifts, and He expects us to put those gifts to work for Him and His kingdom. Like the three servants, our gifts are not the same. God expects us to give back with the gifts we have been received. The servant who received 1 talent was not condemned for failing to reach the 5-talent goal. He was condemned because he did nothing with what he was giving. The gift we receive from God includes skills and abilities and family connections and social positions and education and experience and a lot more. The point of the parable is that we are to use whatever we have been given for God's purpose. God does not endow people with identical or necessarily equal gifts. If you do as well as you can with the gifts given to you by God, you hear His "well done." Not only the gifts, but also the people have equal worth. At the same time, the parable ends with the talent taking from the third servant being given to the one with 10 talents. Equal worth does not necessarily mean equal compensation. Some positions require more skills or abilities, and thus are compensated accordingly. The 2 servants who did well are rewarded with different amounts, but they are both praised identically. The implication of the parable is that we are to use whatever talents we've been given to the best of our ability for God's glory. And when we have done that, we are on an equal playing field with another faithful servant of God.